Hi, I'm Stephanie Watson, and I'm the author of this book called Pencilvania. It's a middle grade fantasy novel for readers ages 8 and up, and it's available as of October 2021. And I wanted to make a few videos to give you a little bit of a peek behind the scenes into the writing process, because the fact is that as readers, as teachers, as librarians, and even as writers of looking at books of other people, a lot of what we see is just this finished product, which is cool. It's great to get to this point. And I'm also really interested in what leads up to that. What are all the things that go into making a book? And so I'm making this little series of videos, and I need to apologize to you up front because I hired a very skilled and dare I say famous videographer to film these. And unfortunately, they just called and said they won't be able to make it today or any other day. So I'm going to have to film these with a tripod rubber banded to my iPhone, rubber banded to my desk. So I just want to get that out of the way. And also at the same time, I should say that I hired a very famous illustrator to create a really slick and snazzy title sequence for me. And unfortunately, they also got lost on the way here. So I'm just gonna do it all myself. Behind the Book with Stephanie Watson. Doodle-doo-doo. Episode 1. So, behind the scenes. The first thing that I want to say is that, maybe it's easier if I show you with a little timeline, okay? So here's the finished book. Here's where I am right now with Pencilvania. It's an exciting place to be. This is the publication. But I want to give you a sense of what all comes before that. So let's say here, and I should tell you, this book, start to finish, took over 10 years to make. And that's not necessarily typical of all books. It's not even necessarily typical of me. It's just how long this particular book took. So, okay, let's look. So let's say here, this is maybe when I sold the book to my wonderful publisher, Sourcebooks. And then in between here, there was some rewriting that happened. And I might tell you about that later, okay? But then here, look at all this time here where things were just sort of happening behind the scenes, mostly in private, mostly just between me and my characters and the world I was making. And then, so this was probably 7, 8 years maybe. I've lost count now, but about 8 years. And this is where I wrote the first draft for National Novel Writing Month. That's where you try to write the entire first draft of a novel in just 1 month. So I wrote it by hand in a series of notebooks. So that was back here. And then there was so much revision that would happen here. And these little lines I'm making are points when I would have people read, maybe give me some feedback, and then I could revise it again. So there were points when, I would have kind of outside contact with people. But as you can see, so much of this is just happening. You're alone, you're at your writing desk, and that can be really challenging, but also really enriching. So one of the things that I did when I was in these little places is to create some art for myself that helped me envision the world in a new way, in a deeper way. And I'm going to share some of that with you in the next episode. So stay tuned to Behind the Book with Stephanie Watson. Do 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 do.